this month only you will get the time to work for your projects. So start working on your project, okay? Did you have your first period? People are not joining.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let me start. If anyone comes, they can join. Alright, so I told you na, that this month I'll start the numerical portion of your syllabus. So before moving on to the numerical portion, you need to understand that why these numerical portions are even required. Then how do you use the tests which I'll teach you to in this chapter in the real life, in the practical life. So for doing that, you need to understand that first the data needs to be collected, okay? The once the data gets collected, then only you can use the different type of tests available in by making them accurate to the type of data which you have gathered, okay? And for doing that also, you will have to know that what sort of data and in what way they needs to be collected, so that you can use them numerically. You can use the tests to test the data, okay? Use the different statistical methods to test the data. And for doing that also, there are certain techniques to collect the data, so that you get the data in their numerical form itself. Do you get me? In order to apply the test, you need to have some numerical value, right? And there are some ways to collect the data in such a manner that the result, when the respondents will reply to your questions, the result which will come out will be numerical form. And for that, how to collect the data in that way, the measurement scales needs to be taught to you, so that you can understand that this if I want this data, then I have to prepare the question in this way, so that the respondent's reply comes in such a manner that the results itself are in numerical form, okay? So for that, the measurement scales are need to be understand clearly. Now for understanding the measurement scale, and again you have to have clear idea about what do you mean by variables and what do you mean by measurements. Okay, so you need to have need to understand the meaning of again variables and the measurements. So I have to So let us brush up the meaning of variables. The variables means characteristics that can take on different values for different numbers of a group. For example, height. For example, weight. For example, age. Like that. Okay. These are the characteristics or the elements which can take different values, okay, for different number of different members of a group. Why is it said that the different members of a group? For example, height, you need to collect it from all the respondents. It's not that you will collect the data from only one person, isn't it? You will collect the data from a group of people selected from a certain location. You have mostly all of you have selected the particular areas in which you will work. Hmm. You will work, and from that area you need to select a particular group of people, and from them you will collect the data for a particular variable. Say the variable is height. You want to collect the details about the heights of the different number of different people selected from that location. So you will have a group of data related to height, because say 50 respondents you have selected from a particular area, and from all the 50 people you have started collecting the data regarding their height. So you will have 50 set of data, of the variable for the variable height, right? So it's like that. So variables will be certain characteristics which can take on different values for different members of a group. And then what is measurement? Measurement means assignment of numbers to characteristics or variables of objects, persons, or events. Now, this measurements, when you have the variable, say height, what? So if you have, you know, the variable called height, then you need to collect the data in certain measurement scale so that you can get numerical value with respect to the variable height. So this that is called measurement. Okay, how do you collect the data in their numerical form, and so that you can apply the perfect test and then decide something about the data. So that is done with the help of measurements. Now, there are certain levels of measurement in statistics and quantitative research methodology. Levels of measurement were developed by the psychologist Stanley Smith Stevens. Okay, in statistics and quantitative research, which you are doing now, for which you have already prepared the synopsis, and you will be doing the research. That is called quantitative research. Okay, and in the entire methodology, in the entire process, these levels of measurement will be utilized. These levels of measurement were developed by the psychologist Stanley Smith Stevens. This person has developed the different levels of measurement. Now, what are those levels of measurement? Before that, you understand what are the importance of the measurement. Research conclusions are only good when the measurements are accurate on which they are based. The more precise, sensitive the method of measurement, the better are the results. So why these measurements techniques are used? Because when the conclusions are precise, when the conclusions are in forms of numbers, in terms of quantitative values, then the conclusions are valued more also. The better the results, the more precise, the more sensitive the method of measurement, the more accurate the method of measurement, the better will be the result. So you need to learn. Don't think that when I'm teaching this in this class, don't think that I'm not going to use this measurement, so I will not learn. Don't do that. Okay, learn the measurements properly so that you can utilize the tests accurately and derive conclusion from your research. And this can only be done by those students who are attending regular classes, because no one will teach you how to transform the variables into measurement values and how to which test to apply for what type of data. So no one is going to teach you other than me. So better you follow the classes properly so that you do a good research. When you submit the thesis and we keep it in our department, it should be a valued one. No, so your juniors will see, your juniors will take reference of your research. So the research should be a good one. So do it. Okay, just do it. Now see, now the levels of measurement. What are the different levels of measurement? Stevens in the year 1946 has classified the variables into 4 levels. These are referred to as level of measurement or levels of data. Now basically there are 4 levels of measurement or 4 types of measurement, you can also say. Okay, the 4 types are called nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. These are scales. Okay, like for measuring the height of yours, we use a scale, particular scale, isn't it? There are certain scales which measures the height. So this is like that only. For measuring height, what scale is used and how better you can use the scale so that you get the perfect measurement of your height, that are 4 in number. For measuring different types of data, this 4 type of scales can be used. You can select any one scale and then follow that scale for measuring your type of data. Okay, now I will only teach you the theoretical coverage of these 4 scales. but you have to identify which scale will be best used in your type of data. Okay, so we start with nominal. Nominal is our, just you just read these lines here in your slides, so that and separately also we'll have elaborate discussion. But before that, read these lines. Nominal, in nominal what, attributes are only named. Weakest attributes, they are again the variables. Okay, the features which you are collecting data with respect to those attributes. So in nominal scale, what this is called the weakest type of scale. Here only the attributes will be named. Say 1, 2, number 1, number 2, or weak, strong, like that only you can name. Okay, in nominal scale you can only name the attributes, and this is called the weakest type of scale. Then we have ordinal scale. Here the attributes can be ordered. That means 1, 2. Suppose 5 attributes you have collected and you have ordered them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So numbering them and naming them is only done in nominal scale. But in ordinal scale, you will be also able to classify that which one is stronger than what attribute. Say 1. When you are naming it as 1, then another one you are naming it as 2. So 2 is stronger than 1, that you will be able to identify. Likewise, 3 is stronger than 2 and 1. Likewise, 4 is stronger than 3, 2 and 1. And 5 is the strongest. So in ordinal scale, when you use the ordinal scale, you will be able to order the attributes in a particular manner. Then interval scale. In interval scale, what? The distance, the measurement, the volume, will be measured. I'll discuss this in detail in elaboration. So in interval scale is a bit better than ordinal and nominal. Here in interval scale the distance will be measured, and they will be measured in meaningful terms also. Ratio scale is their absolute zero. There will be a particular zero with which you can carry on. Say 1, after 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, so that you can specify a particular point. In ratio you will be able to specify a particular absolute zero. Okay, absolute zero. So let us discuss them in detail so that you understand them better. Nominal, first nominal scale. Okay, so nominal scale is called, it is the weakest one and only naming is done. So nominal type scale, sometimes also called the qualitative type, that differentiates between items or subjects only on the basis of their names or categories or qualities. For example, gender, nationality, language, style, and biological spaces. So suppose you want to collect data and you just mention gender, male or female, nationality, India or foreign, like that. You're just naming the attributes. Okay, you're just naming the qualities, whether the respondent is a male or a female, what language does he or she use, to which nationality does he or she belong, what style does he follow, and other biological spaces. You want to just collect data with respect to that. Then nominal scale can be used. A nominal scale represents lower level of measurement. Such scales classifies persons or objectives into 2 or more categories. Do you understand? Do you understand the meaning of nominal scale? Now see example, origin of country. You can just put numbers. 4 countries you can, 3 countries you can put, and fourth one you can name it as other, and just number those countries. If United States, the respondent will tick on 1. If Mexico, the respondent will tick on 2. If the respondent is from Canada, he will tick on 3. And if he is from any other country other than these 3, he will tick on 4. So you are assigning numbers to the categories of different countries. Do you understand? This is the assignment of numbers to the categories and has no mathematical meaning. Understood? So when you are saying 1, 2, 3 and 4, it doesn't have any mathematical meaning. You're just naming the attributes. You're just naming the categories. You're naming United States as 1, Mexico as 2, Canada as 3, and other countries as 4. However, in this case, it is important to keep in mind that the numbers do not have intrinsic meaning. You should be careful that this number doesn't imply any meaning. They should be meaningless. Only numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, like that. Only numbers. Do you understand? Do you understand nominal scale? Meaning of nominal scale? Is it clear to all of you? Please tell me. So likewise, suppose your attribute is gender. So male and female and transgender. 3 you can keep. So 1 for male, 2 for female, and 3 for transgender. Like that you can put. So you are just only numbering the categories. 1 as male, 2 as female, and 3 as transgender. Do you understand? Is it clear? Please tell me.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in nominal scale, you will just, number. You'll just put a name. With the use of certain numbers, you're just putting name. But you have to be very careful that this number should not signify any meaning. Simply there needs to be certain numbers. It's not that United States 5. So United States 10. Mexico 5. Because United States is stronger country than Mexico. Like that it should not be so. Simply you put numbers. You can put 1 in place of Mexico. You can put 1 in place of Canada. Doesn't matter. Because you're following an order. No, 1, 2, 3, 4 like that you're following. So it won't matter. But don't put 10 for United States. 10 on 10. So 10. When 5 on 10 for Mexico. So 5. Not like that. It should not be like that. Simply you need to put some number. You need to assign some numbers. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now comes to a little better scale, which is called ordinal scale. An ordinal scale not only classifies subjects but also ranks them in terms of the degree to which they possess a characteristics of interest. An ordinal scale indicates relative position. Now, if I say that, go back to this example, I rank United States to be the best one, so 1. Then Mexico to be the second best one, so 2. Third best is Canada, so 3. Rest of the countries are all 4. Like that, if I tell you that now I want to rank these countries and I'm using certain numbers, then I'm using ordinal scale. Ordinal scale can determine whether an object has more or less of a characteristic than some other object. The exact measurement is not available, like student A is taller than student B, but their actual heights are available. Are not available. Are available. So if you have the heights of the students and so if you have the heights of the students, you know the heights of the student, then you can say that student A is taller than student B, or the reverse, student B is taller than student A. So you are now able to measure this heights of the students. You are now able to categorize the heights of the student, right? So this is ordinal scale. Now you are using ordinal scale. It permits the researcher to rank or order the respondents or their responses. So when you're using ordinal scale, it will allow you to measure. You can now compare that which one is better than what. One example, the result of a horse race which says only which horses arrived first, second or third, but include no information about race timings. So see this example, if you're sitting in a horse race or human race also, you can have information regarding regarding which horse has come first, which horse has come second, or which horse has come third, isn't it? But the ordinal scale will not provide you information about the timing that each of these horses took to reach the deadline, to reach the end point. Okay, common examples of ordinal scale include quality ranking, socio-economics classes, and occupational status. So if you have your quality ranking of the products, of different products, say For example, noodles. You take different brands of noodles and you rank them. Maggi number 1, EP number 2, Top Ramen number 3. Like that. Then YY number 4. Like that. If you rank the different brands of the product, then it can be done in ordinal scale. Do you understand? First, second, and third. In nominal scale, you are not saying that this one is better than that one. You are just numbering the items. But in ordinal scale, you can say which one is better than what. Do you understand? Tell me. Is it clear? Ordinal scale.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So, just remember, okay, keep in your mind, don't forget ever that nominal scale will only help you in numbering the items. You can just name the items with the help of certain numbers, but in ordinal scale, you can say that which one is better than what. Like socioeconomic classes, you belong to upper class, but I belong to middle class, so you are better than me economically, right? So like that, I can rank now who is better than whom. Then occupational status, you are a student but I am a teacher, I have I have more degree than you, so I am better than you in this respect. So this also will help me to rank. If I have the occupational status, if I have the degrees, number of degrees I have and you have and others have, then I can rank us, isn't it? So it is done with the help of ordinal scale. Now come to interval scale. The third one was interval scale, you remember? So interval scales indicate order and also the distance in the order. 0 point on the interval scale is arbitrary 0. It doesn't mean the complete absence of anything. Now comes to interval scale. So look at this example, okay? Then it will be easier for you to understand. So what is the example? The difference between temperature between 20 degrees Fahrenheit and 25 degrees Fahrenheit is same as the difference between 76 degrees Fahrenheit and 81 degrees Fahrenheit. So temperature scale in Fahrenheit. This is, but say this is a temperature scale in Fahrenheit, and if I say that this difference between red button and the blue button is 5 units, okay, say this is 25 and this is 20, so this is difference of 5 units, and also the difference between blue and the green is also 5 units. Okay, so I can say that these two distances are same. Say the difference between 20 and 25 degrees Fahrenheit is same as the difference between 76 and 81 degrees Fahrenheit or not. Difference between 76 and 81 is also 5, and difference between 20 and 25 is also 5. So difference of 5 degrees Fahrenheit is the same. So interval scale helps you to say that this difference are same. Do you understand? Tell me, interval scale. Interval scales allow comparisons of the differences of magnitude, that is, for example, attitudes, but do not allow determinations of the actual strength of the magnitude. That means, what is the actual strength? Whether 81 and 76 difference is better or 25 and 20 difference is better, that won't be able to say it by that won't be able to be clarified by interval scale. Okay, it only says about certain difference. You can talk about certain differences and say that these two differences are same, but you cannot say which one is better than what. That is interval scale.
Ma'am, interval scale can be used for giving examples.
For giving examples means?
Means like means comparing the characteristics of something and giving that thing as an example.
Yes, exactly. You can compare the characteristics, okay, of some feature, of some attributes or variables. Now come to ratio scale. So what is ratio scale? This is the highest level of measurement and has the properties of other 3 levels. This scale has a unique or fixed beginning or true zero point. Complete absence of the phenomena being measured. So this ratio scale is said to be as the best scale, and it has all the characteristics of the previous three scales, and also it starts with a perfect zero, like in the remember the example of the measuring scale of this one Fahrenheit scale, temperature you're measuring, right? But it doesn't have an absolute zero. There is no zero. There will be certain temperature, isn't it? But in ratio scale, it starts with an absolute zero. For example, heartbeats per minute has a very natural 0 0.0. 0 means no heartbeats. Weight in grams is also a ratio variable. Again, the zero value is meaningful. 0 grams means the absence of weight. So when suppose a baby is in the tummy of the mother, then at that time the weight will be 0. The weight will not be calculated. The weight of the baby will be calculated as the overall weight of the mother. But as soon as the baby comes out of the tummy, then from that point the weight measurement gets started. So this weight has a 0. This started with an absolute 0, but now it is having some value. So here the 0 means something. 0 means something, right? Also the case of heartbeats. No heartbeat, that person has died. Then 0 heartbeat. So it has also natural 0 point. Like that, you can give me another example. Give me another example if it comes to your mind of a ratio scale. Tell me any attribute which has an absolute 0, which starts with a 0.
Ma'am, speed, ma'am.
Speed, very good. Okay, speed. When the vehicle is not moving, it is stagnant, so the speed is 0. The moment it starts, then the speedometer starts, right? Then it starts showing you the speed. Very good example. Okay, so all these attributes which has a 0 beginning, which starts with a 0 point and gradually takes some values. This can be measured in ratio scale. And for your research, you will use ratio scale only, okay? Because it has got all the attributes. It has got so many features. It is the best type of measurement scale. Ratio scale allow comparisons of the difference of magnitude as well as determinations of the actual strength of the magnitude. So if you say the speed is 0 and if you say the speed is 40 kilometers per hour, so you will be able to talk about the strength of the magnitude also. 0 speed means no speed, 20 or 10 speed, 10 kilometer per hour. So you will reach your destination at a very, long period of time. You will take long period of time to reach your destination. 40 speed is moderate. It's a good speed. You can reach safely. If you increase the speed more than 40, 50, 60, 70, now you're going to the danger zone. Accidents can happen. Although you have a chance of reaching your destination faster, but still there are chances of accidents. So you can now compare which one is better than what. Same goes with weight. If weight is less, 10 kg, 20 kg at the age of say 15, 16, 20 years of age, so it's a very bad weight. Whereas if you have a 45 kg of weight at the age of 20, depending on your height also, then you can say that this weight amount is better than the 20 kgs of weight. Like that you can compare now. So ratio scale is better, okay? Okay, so we have covered up all the 4 types of scales now. Now you know by now that ratio scale is the best type of scale of measurement. So you are going to use ratio scale. Whenever you will prepare the questions, you will make the question in such a way which starts with 0. That means no comment, no answer at all. Then gradually the respondents will have their own answer. Criterion for selection of instruments. So on what basis you will select the instrument? I have already selected for you. It's ratio. It should be ratio scale. But still, you can utilize this criteria for selecting. One is our measure valid? Is our measure reliable? These are the perfect 2 categories of selecting of saying that your scale of measurement is the best scale of measurement. reliability and validity. For a research study to be accurate, its findings must be both reliable and valid. Reliable means when you're finding this data, people should be relying on it. The people should be doing their research based on your data. That is how reliability occurs. And validity. How valid points you have included, what validity you have used. That makes your measurement more valid. Okay. Then criteria for selection, reliability research means that the findings should be consistently the same if the study were done over and over again. Consistency should be there. Same result should occur. Okay. Then validity means valid measure is one that provides the information that it was intended to provide. The purpose of a thermometer is to provide information on the temperature, and if it works correctly, it is a valid thermometer. Thermometer's work is to give the information related to temperature. It should not give information related to weight of the person. Okay, so it doesn't become valid. The job of a thermometer is to show temperature, and it should show temperature only. Then only your research is valid. Reliability means say every time you're measuring your temperature in a particular day, say in every morning you're measuring for 7 days, then if you're all right, you don't have fever and all that, then the temperature should remain same. If consistency is there, even if it is different, but the difference should not be much. It may be little bit of difference depending on the climate, weather. So if you're getting consistently the same result, then it is your research is reliable. So depending on the type of which one you want to follow, whether you want it to be reliable and valid or not, that will depend on your selection of the measurement scale. So 4 measurement scales are done today. Tomorrow we will have some information regarding parametric and non-parametric tests. Okay. Any doubt if you have, you can ask. I'm taking attendance. You will respond, okay? We have a class at 8:40 again, okay? Advertisement class. Do attend the class, okay? I'll take classes today. All right, now respond please. Ayush Pradhan,
Present, ma'am.
Abhishek, Ankita,
Present, ma'am.
Argo, Ayush Charasia, Bikram, Deepa,
Present, ma'am.
Devesh, Diksha, Isha, Hemant, Jasmeet, Lando, Pema, Pulamu,
Present, ma'am.
Pulamu, Pooja, Prajwal, Praraj, Prashant,
Present, ma'am.
Pratiksha,
Yes, ma'am.
Prayas, Rajeshwari, Ronak, Reena,
Present, ma'am.
Ritik, Sahil, Sejal, Sheetal, Shruti,
Present, ma'am.
Shubham, Sparsh,
Present, ma'am.
Srishti, Swikar, Valusha, Wangchu, Yogesh,
Present, ma'am.
Yongten.
I'm present today.
Who is this? Wangchu.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Advertisement class is at 8:40 as at the new routine. Please check whether it is 8:40 or 9:20. I think 8:40. Advertisement class timing has been changed. Wangchu present. Okay. Okay, see the routine and join. I think it is at 8:40.
Ma'am, same link, ma'am.
What link?
Ma'am, we have to go in same that, ma'am.
Link was given. Link was given before and only. I'll give you again.
Sorry,
Before
ma'am.
the
Thank
class, I'll give you.
Ma'am, it's at 9:20.
Huh?
Ma'am, it's at 9:20.
9:20. Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, but for today you can take it at 8:40 because Patrick sir is not taking class.
But I have class at 8:40.
Okay, ma'am.
Wait, let me see. Just a minute. You can leave the meeting, huh? Okay, see the routine and join. 8:20, 9:20 or 8:40 doesn't matter. See the routine and join, huh? Yes, Wangchu.
Ma'am, actually, due to some personal problems, I had to go out of town and I just